Okay, so in last video we created these simple login register form. So now to send requests to login, we need to send request to our backend. For that, we'll install HTTP client with npm install Reactjs. So after that is pulled in, we need to include it inside our index.js. So this is the starting point for our React application. So as you can see here, we are importing everything and then here we are rendering the app component, and inside app component, this is our component and this is how we define component. So app extends component, and inside render method, so whatever is inside this render method is get rendered. Okay, so everything inside this render method get rendered in our web page. So basically this is JSX. This is not HTML or JavaScript. So this is separate language called JSX that React uses. So it looks just like HTML. Okay, so basically index.html is the starting application where there is root div with root id, and then in index.js it will render this app inside this div. It get element by id and renders that. So basically you are seeing this index.html with this app rendered there. So after installing Reactjs, we'll import that. Import Reactjs from Reactjs, and then we'll assign this to window. So now we can use this Reactjs inside this component. Okay, like render, we can create another method to handle to submit. So we'll create submit method, and what it will do is it will send Reactjs post request to login. Here we'll send form data. Before that we need to construct our form data. So the way we do here is like so if you go to form section in documentation, we'll need this handle change method, which will set the state and set the value. So that value we'll use here. Okay, so first we need to create a constructor where we'll store our state. So it is like data that related to this component. So create a constructor that accepts props. So this is by default. Then we need to do super props, and then this dot state equals to object, and inside this object we'll call this form data. This will be empty object, and we'll construct all our form field here. Also what you can do is just name it here like email, and then we need to give name to this field. Name equals to email, and name equals to, and on change, on something change here, we need to call a method. So this is how we call method. This dot let's call it handle change. You can call it anything you want, and we need to create this method handle change. Handle change, so this will receive the event. For now let's log this event. So on anything changes on email, this should trigger this handle change. Let's switch to our React application. We got something. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we need to open up console and let's change some email. Okay, we got event triggered. Okay, so inside login, currently we do not have any value for this, so we need to define a value which will be coming from state. So this dot state dot email. So whatever is here will be the value of this field. So for example, let's say default@gmail.com. Switch here, and yeah, there we go. So now whatever we change will be on event, target target value, I think. Okay, no problem, we need to set the value, I think. Okay, so on handle change we need to set the value of this email. Actually so we need to bind this event handler here, like so. This dot handle change equals to this dot handle change dot. So otherwise this this will not work inside the function, so we need to bind the this of this class into this function. That's one thing to remember. Similarly you do for other function like submit. This dot submit bind this for this submit function. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to, let's call it event to make it more clear, and just log it event dot target dot value. Let's see what we got. Change, yeah, we're getting this target value. And then what we need to do is this is the value of the field, and we need to set this field. I think also we can get event dot target dot name. So this will be the name of field. Let name equals to this, and okay, let's log name and value both. So email, and then yeah. Okay, now when someone calls this, we have access to name of the field and value of the field. So now we use these name and value to update our state. So the way we do is we'll construct our data. Let data equals to empty object, and then data, the key will be name, so it will construct our object with key the name of field, and value will be the value, and then we'll use this data to update state data. Okay, so like so this is how we update. So this data will be like this object, email and password something, sorry, value this. So this will be the object which will update this state. So if key will be email, it will update the email here. If password, it will update password here. Okay, so let's see this in action. So refresh everything. Let's go to login component in our, so you can install this React Dev Tools from Chrome extension store. And so let's see. So currently the email and password is null. So as I start typing admin@admin.com, it updates here. And then let me type password. Yeah, so we got password. So as I change, it will change here as well, like so. So now we can use these two data and post to our backend to log in the user. Here on submit, we'll post that data. So we'll be posting object. So this dot state dot email, and similarly this dot state dot password. Email will be this and password will be this. We'll get response and we'll log that response here. Actually that will be the API/login. Okay, let's see how it so for that we need on submit, we'll call this method named this dot submit, and also we need a submit button. So event and dot prevent default, and just to confirm if this works, and later on we'll configure this on our main configuration file for Axios. Okay, so let's go back to our React application. Let's try to send request once more. Submit. Okay, we got user not found. So actually we are making requests, so we need to post to right user. So let's try with one user. So I think we should do register before login, but it's okay. So password is secret. Let's try. No reaction. Okay, we got data. Let's see what's inside. Okay, we are getting access token and refresh token. So our login functionality is alright. So we are getting user information as well. Now we'll store this access token in our local storage and post and access other routes which require authentication, like fetching contacts, CRUD of contacts. Okay, after successful login, we are saving the token we get from our server. So access token is set. Same thing we can do for register. Okay, after successful login, after server returns the login success, what we'll do is we'll redirect user to home page. Okay, in order to redirect, what we'll do is this is the render function, and we'll make a state. Okay, we'll create a state logged in equals to false by default, and after user get logged in, we'll make that true. So this dot set state logged in equals to true, like so. And if logged in equals to true, what we'll do is we'll render, instead of rendering this form, we'll render a redirect component. So if this dot state dot logged in, so if it's true, we'll return redirect, and we'll redirect to home page. So this redirect component is coming from React router, so which will import, we are importing here. So import redirect from React router DOM, and that's it. So after login, we can go to home page. Okay, let's see this in action. Currently home, login, and then login with a user, submit. Yeah, so we go to home component. So by the way, I've created a home component. Let me show you. This is simple component with just these two content, and I've included this on app.js just like other components. So register and login. So here we have, so we need to do exact equals to true, because otherwise this slash is common in all other route, and it will this component is loaded every time. Okay, so this is login workflow. This is how we redirect, and simply you can do same thing for register as well.